Welcome to our Biz Huddle podcast. I'm your host, Mitch Cuthbert, Creative Director at Baker Creative. Kathy Carnup is the Vice President of Marketing for the Columbus Symphony Orchestra, a position she was promoted to in 2019. After serving as the CSO's Director of Marketing since 2011, Kathy is a graduate of Franklin University, and she's also been employed by ABC and NBC television affiliates, Gatehouse Media Partners, and as the Vice President Marketing Manager for Wilkes Broadcasting, overseeing 3 radio stations, including QFM 96. Welcome.
Hi, Kathy Carnup. Thank you so much for your time to be on our podcast. We really appreciate hearing about your story and how you're really engaging the community. And I know that you've come from a varied background, from managing radio stations to your current role. How has one role helped you prepare for the other?
Well, I started out in radio sales and, of course, at a tiny little station. And so that was very difficult to sell. But, I think radio and selling radio and TV, you're working with the actual clients on their marketing. And so I think I did do some media buying at an agency as well. And so when the job came up at the Symphony, they needed someone who knew how to buy media and to market them. And I think all those things in my background. And then I also play classical piano. And so it makes it so that it's not kind of like a foreign language to me. And so it really, out of all my experiences in my life with classical piano, and my dad was a musician and his parents were musicians, and my experience in the media and, knowing a lot of people in the media in town, it just was just like the perfect storm for me as far as a job goes. And I've been here for 10 years.
You mean in the Columbus market?
At the Symphony.
Oh, at the Symphony.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how has the Symphony become a role model for other orchestras since you've avoided musician layoffs during COVID?
Well, that is a really good question. We have actually, a lot of orchestras have called to find out what we have been doing and how we've done it to keep our musicians working. And so we did. We're very proud of that. We had the musicians doing other things besides actually playing. We kept them busy. Like I said, we did videos, and it could be a personal video about, who they were at home. They did videos teaching. They did cooking videos. I mean, it was just a little bit of everything. Andy Malott is a beekeeper. So, we kept the musicians busy that way. We had them write thank you notes and letters to our patrons and donors. We did outdoor free concerts once we could get outside last summer. And we recorded things that were socially distant on stage, and we would do, stream those free for everyone. And so I think what we have thought during this is that we want to be a part of the healing, and we want to serve this community, which is what the orchestra is really supposed to do, is to be serving the community. And we feel like we really did that. We also developed 2 kids' websites, Symphonic Teens and CSO Kids Corner, and they're being used by the Columbus City School system. And we also did a curriculum for 3rd graders. So we kept busy and kept everybody working, doing a lot of things for education. I think the musicians did probably over 150 videos, whether it be explaining an instrument or it was about a composer. So, the amount of things that we've done is incredible. And again, we're in the hall now, working and playing in front of a limited audience.
Do the kids typically have a certain type of interest in when it comes to the music of the orchestra? Is there typical questions that they ask?
They ask, what's it like to be in an orchestra? And so we did a video on that. So we could answer that question.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Is there like a particular instrument you get the most questions about from the kids?
I think it's violin. I think kids like violin. I think it's kind of an intro to, it's very difficult to play, but I think it's an intro into music. Piano used to be everyone's introduction into music, and everybody had piano lessons. Now I think it's a little bit more guitar, but kids are interested in violins because they just make beautiful music.
Understood. So your music director has been known for being a chef, And are there any
Yes.
plans to kind of put together that chef experience with music?
We do that already. At our gala, we auction off a dinner with Rawson for about 10 people. And there could be music there. He is known to be a great chef, and he's done several videos of his recipes, and we post them online, and they're on our YouTube channel. And so, yeah, we do music and do things like that. I don't know that it would be on a big scale. It would just be a very personal thing in someone's home, and he's done it several times.
So the fact that 65% of the orchestra revenue comes from donations has caused the orchestra to explore the potential for additional revenue streams. What does that look like?
Well, our patrons have been extremely generous through COVID, and that is part of the way we've been able to keep running. And so we're very fortunate that way. But I think with all of the things that we've been doing for the community and doing them free, I think it's inspired our donors to continue to support us.
Great. And what programming changes has the orchestra made in recent years to welcome a younger demographic and more business people? And the College Club is an example of the orchestra providing a constant access at a reasonable cost.
So again, the College Club's great to bring in, we feel like, I think that the classical music is what it is. And we want to have it be like a learning experience for people. And so we don't really try to water it down too much, to be honest. We try to educate and serve that genre and do it well and make it inspirational and very high quality. And so we do things from different composers from different countries or at different times, or whether it's new music or it's women or it's African-American composers, we do add those in. But you're going to see us next year doing all the big names, because we're getting ready to announce our Masterwork season on May 10th for 21-22. And it's full of big pieces like Beethoven 9, The Rite of Spring, Saint-Saëns, organ. No, we're not doing the organ symphony. We're doing something else by Saint-Saëns. Now I can't remember. We're doing the organ symphony in a couple of weeks. But anyway, we'll have really big name things. We're doing an opera, La Bohème, which will be very big. And we're doing Carmina Burana. So I'm naming off really the greatest hits. And that's kind of what our season will be like.
That sounds fun. That sounds going to be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Very exciting. It's something for a lot of people to look forward to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it will. You're the first to know. Obviously, this hasn't been announced. but yeah, but we're proud of it. And, the brochure is at the printer, and I'm very proud of that, creating that piece. And so we're very excited about next season, and we think people will really respond to it.
So then, since we've had to deal with COVID and a lot of the free things, now making that transition, will there still be some free events going forward after COVID?
Yes. So now whether COVID's still on up this summer, I'm sure in some way, shape, or form it will be, but we are going to do our community concerts like we did last summer. We're going to go ahead and do those again. So we'll do about 20 free community concerts after Picnic with the Pops. Okay. And yes, we will have free events. We'll continue to do so. We play all the time at hospitals and retirement homes and things like that. So all those things we do for the community, and it is free. So we will continue to do a lot of those. I think last year we did probably 150 free things, whether it's a quartet or it was the orchestra, outside doing the community things. And, we've had limited sizes in our orchestras because of COVID as well. So that's how we were able to go out to do all these free community concerts, because we had them. We had, a certain amount at this one and a certain amount at that one and a certain amount at that one, because we couldn't put them all together because of COVID.
What has surprised someone who hasn't attended a concert recently?
Well, I always say that everyone loves classical music. They just don't know it because, you hear it in movies. Even the Ohio State Band plays Carmina Burana. And so I think everyone, if they came, and especially our next season, would hear something that they know and would be really inspired to hear it live, because there's nothing like hearing an orchestra live. I always say you got to see it live.
Right. And with some of the traditional symphony benefactors that are kind of graying out, getting older, what has the philanthropy model changed to sustain the symphony coffers with other types of benefactors?
That is a good question. I'm not in the development department, but they do a very good job at what they're doing. I think we've done a great job in the last few years of bringing up our balance sheet and trying to work on the endowment fund. And, I'm not exactly sure how they do that. It's just not my department, but they do a good job of it. So I know we work very hard at, I think, again, the whole purpose is to really educate the community about the service that we provide to the community. And it's not just, playing music, it's educating the children. Our musicians are teachers in the community, and they teach our children in the community and all the things that we do. Even we live streamed to several prisons, our holiday show this past Christmas. And we got letters back from them at how appreciative they were to hear that and to see it. So, and, we did the same thing at I believe it was the James and Children's. We also had our holiday show, which aired on Channel 4 and Channel 10. And then it also aired in these hospitals as well for people. So all of these things that we try to do to serve the community and be a part of the healing through this COVID type thing and just healing in general if someone needs it. It's just really inspirational. Classical music is very inspirational.
So what do you think, say 10 years from now, and what you look back at, your job or and the work that's been done, what do you think that legacy will be?
You mean for me?
For you or the orchestra itself?
Yeah, well, I think that when I think about myself, I am really proud of, we updated the logo and kind of updated the look. And I think I took us to a little bit different level of promoting. And we have increased sales of tickets and of the number of people that are there with us. And we try to do that every single year. Now, obviously last year was an odd year. This year's an odd year, but we'll go back to the 2019 numbers and then try to reach those that we did then, even though we think that we might have a slow comeback because of COVID. It might not be, everybody can come. But I think the orchestra, I think that we just continue to keep doing things for the community, and more we can do. When I first started 10 years ago, we were doing our classical works, we were doing our pops, and we were doing Picnic with the Pops. And now we are full into all kinds of education things and free community concerts and going out to hospitals. I mean, I think the big change in the last 10 years has just been the amount of things that we do and why we do it.
Sounds like a good reason. So if someone was looking at behind the scenes with the musicians, what would surprise someone as a fan?
Well, that is an interesting question. I mean, to me, they're very nice people. They're very talented and they're very dedicated to their art. I think some of the things, and this is what I tried to do during COVID, to kind of let people get to know them more on a personal level. Like I said, Andy Malott is a beekeeper, and some of them teach. And one of our musicians did whatever that dance is. I don't know what, but anyway, he did that dancing, and some of them are good cooks and did recipes. So I think that just getting to know them, like you see them sitting on the stage and it's just so grandiose, but to get to know that they're just really good, normal people. And I think that's probably the most interesting thing, that people kind of just want to know, like, who is that on stage?
I think it's cool to do like behind the scenes. I think it's important for people to connect with those musicians and really understand collectively they have a voice, but they also have an individual voice that really can impact the community in a profound way.
Well, that's true. Russ Gill, he is a runner, and he has raised a ton of money for, I believe it's the Heart Association, or I don't know the exact charity, I'm sorry. But anyway, every year he runs up and down the steps at the Lebec Tower to raise money. And so those are, all different kinds of things that they do that make them part of this community that we're so proud of, and they are too. So,
well, thanks so much for your time, and I really appreciate it, Kathy, and in sharing some of that insight with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
If you're interested in learning more, visit our website at bakercreative.co.